Do you wish you could afford to take more time off during the holidays? This year, I was able to take 2 weeks off for Thanksgiving, and I'll be taking another 5 days off for Christmas, and neither choice is affecting my income. So, this week on Fierce Feminine Finance, I want to show you how to structure your business in a way that allows you to take time off for the holidays without losing money. Those of you who don't know, my name is Sarah Nicole Nadler. I am a money coach for businesswomen, and I help my clients to increase their profitability so you can work less and make more. So today, let's dive into this topic. If you're calling in from around the world, please go ahead and comment in the chat. I always like to hear where you're calling in from and what type of business you have so I can tailor my examples to you. Also, feel free to comment below and ask me any questions you have on this topic because I like to make these trainings as interactive as possible. So without further ado, let's get started. Between Black Friday, holiday family madness, that last-ditch effort to hit your annual goals before 2024, it's no wonder that so many of our employees want to take time off during the holidays. But that's a big problem, right? Because you've worked just as hard, if not harder, all year long, and you want to have time off too. So how do we do this? Now, before we get into the exact training I'm going to teach today, I want to let you know I did create a downloadable workbook that goes with this training. So you'll want to head over to fiercefemininefinance.com/girlgetpaid. I'll repeat that. It's fiercefemininefinance.com/girlgetpaid to download the workbook that goes with today's free live training. All right, let's get started. So first of all, if you're like most family-owned or small businesses, your family, as well as your employees, as well as your clients, they're all relying on you to make everything go right this holiday season, right? And in order for you to take time off, you have to make sure that the show goes on, your client fulfillment is still going to be under control, your employees will still be productive, and the income is going to come in the door, right? So how do we make all of these things happen? The burning question most business owners ask me is, how do I do this without losing money? Because I know that you know how to structure your schedule and take time off, right? Like you do know how to step away. You probably have complete control over your own schedule. It's more a question of how do I structure my business so that when I take time off, it doesn't cut into my bottom line, right? So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. The three-step formula that I have used with myself in my own business and as well as with my clients is actually pretty simple, but it's in the details, right? The juicy part is in the details. So stick with me. We're going to go into this step by step. But just to give you the actual formula itself, step one, we're going to analyze the existing roles you play or the hats you wear in your business right now. Okay. Step two, we're going to learn how to extract yourself out of those roles and how to afford to automate or hire a team. All right. And then step three, we're going to put an actual financial system in place because 99% of business owners I talk to, even the ones who are my clients in my one-on-one coaching program who are already making 6 or 7 figures, even they, when they first came to me, did not have a business budget, did not have income planning in place, did not know how to do a statistic analysis and actually identify the hard data that would allow them to make smart business decisions, right? So usually small business owners, we're missing a lot of those key pieces of the financial system, and that's why it becomes hard to afford to take time off over the holidays. So I'm going to make this training as fast as possible, but it is a little bit of a longer training today. So if you do need to catch the replay, comment replay below, and I'll be happy to send the link to you, okay? Let's get right into it. The first thing I will say is that over the last 5 years of consulting business owners, big and small, whether people who just started yesterday and just have like a crazy idea for a business and don't actually have any clients yet, all the way to my clients who have the best client I had, I shouldn't say best, the most successful client I had was an 8-figure businesswoman, right? From 1 to 0, wherever you are, 1 to 8 figures, you will find that generally we fall into 3 different categories mindset wise. Okay. So we're going to first learn how to analyze your business, thinking of it like this, all right? The bottom of the scale when it comes to mindset, right? And how we spend our time and how we approach spending in our business is what I call the worker bee mindset, okay? Worker bees it's not just that you're doing the work yourself, it's the way you're thinking, okay? So most of the time a worker bee is a solopreneur, although not always, all right? And usually they'll tell me things like, I'd do this even if I wasn't being paid for it. I love what I do, all right? Worker bees typically started their business from a place of passion, not profit, right? And so they're doing the work themselves. They often make very costly mistakes because they think like an employee, okay? Every time they see a job that needs to be done, their first thought is, how do I fit that into my schedule? Right? That's their first instant reaction to seeing a task is, I've got to find the time to do that myself. The keynote of a worker bee is that even when she has high profit margins and is sitting on a load of extra cash, she still thinks first of how she can take on more hats herself. So that is a worker bee, okay? Then we have a leader bee, as I like to call them. The natural leader bees think first of how to delegate. Okay, they see a task, like, I got to get this on someone else's plate, okay? So you can see she's a step above, she's a step ahead of a worker bee. She finds work for others to do and partners easily with other investors, right? Other employees. She's very good at, and she finds it easy to attract talented people to her mission, right? She finds it easy to invest, or easier at least. She finds it easier to invest than a worker bee because she has that abundance mindset. But she is likely to ignore opportunities to hire a mentor, management team, or personal assistant because even though she looks for people to, pass hats over to, she still tends to micromanage those people, okay? Her biggest weakness, a leader bee's biggest weakness, is she struggles to teach other people how to manage. So even though she might have an employee, she might have a virtual assistant, she's still managing that person herself or those people herself, and she struggles to find other managers and maybe even feels like she can't afford to have a CEO or a manager in her business, right? So because of this, she gets stuck running the team. And for a lot of you who are 6 figures or even high 5-figure businesses, and you're not taking time off this holiday season because you feel like you have to babysit your employees, you feel like they can't keep the show on the road without you being present to oversee them. In a lot of cases, it's because you're stuck right here in mindset wise, right? Like you're thinking like a leader, which is better than being the worker bee, right? At least you hired a team, but you're still stuck in that, like, okay, I delegated, but I have to watch it. I have to just make sure that everything's okay. I need to like keep my finger on the pulse or it's all going to go wrong. And when you're thinking like that, you're not thinking like an investor bee, okay? So what really defines abundance mindset? How do we actually identify when we're thinking like an investor? Okay, because an investor, or a queen bee, as I like to call it, she looks at her business as just one of many cash flowing assets in her portfolio. Okay. She doesn't have all her beans in one basket. She's not only investing money back into her business all the time. She has a portfolio of other investments as well. And this is just one of them. And because she has just one, because her business is just one of many investments that she has, she knows better than to micromanage her team or allow them to need babysitting. Okay. She has no urge to step in when work needs to be done, which can be a negative point, right? We also have to be willing to step in as needed. But instead, she first thinks of, who can I employ to do this? And she isn't micromanaging that person. She sets proper expectations from day one in her business, and she holds high standards of performance from her employees by using data-driven decisions, okay? That's how you think like an investor bee. She finds it easy to let other people take the limelight. She doesn't have to be the face of her brand. She knows how to negotiate and get other people on board for brand deals and stuff like that. And because of that reason, she naturally attracts leaders, right? She's not attracting people who just want to clock in and clock out. She's naturally attracting leaders because she lets them take the limelight. She lets them be the face. She lets them actually take the glory, because all she cares about at the end of the day is this business profitable, and is it serving its clients in the way I want to serve, right? That at the end of the day is all that matters. Her biggest weakness, like I said, is a reluctance to step in when those under her are failing. She might not step in quickly enough, right? So I'm not going to say that queen bees or investor bees are always perfect, but this has been my experience over 5 years now of consulting business owners, particularly women. We tend to get stuck in worker bee phase or stuck in leader bee phase and not even realize that there is a mindset level above that. So whether you are a worker bee, a leader bee, or an investor bee, it has very little to do with your daily tasks and everything to do with how you think. A worker bee always looks for ways to DIY, even when she has plenty of money. A leader bee will always avoid mentorship, avoid investing into her team, investing in training her team. She traps herself in a management role. An investor might still be doing many tasks herself, especially if she's a solopreneur, but she's looking constantly, always looking for ways to automate or offload, outsource, and hire a team member. Okay. She's looking for opportunities to better organize, to hire, to automate herself out of her hats. She delegates easily. She believes in investing in her team. Okay. She believes in investing in software that will automate processes. She's thinking with the future. And because she's thinking with the future, she's less likely to duct tape everything together. She's less likely to, fail to document processes. She knows what it's going to take to actually delegate that, and she's willing to put in that effort. Okay. So that's been my experience. And those business owners who think that way, they find it much easier to get to passive income quickly, okay? Because they're not stuck in that mindset. So step one, like I said, is to really do what I call a B analysis. Ask yourself this question: does my mindset need to shift before I will be able to take more time off? Is there something about the way I'm thinking? Is there something about the way I'm operating in my business that is making it difficult for me to extract myself out? Okay, so that's the first question I want you to ask yourself. Step two, actually extract yourself out of the worker bee roles. So even if you're thinking like an investor bee, if you're still a solopreneur, there's probably some work that needs to be done to actually improve the processes in your business or improve the profitability in your business so you can afford to hire a team, automate processes, and extract yourself out, right? If you're finding that you're spending too much time on worker bee or leader bee tasks, it really is time to hire a team. But here's the thing that will stop a lot of people is they think that they can't afford to do this. You might need to raise your prices in order to extract yourself out. And the first thought that always goes through most women's head is, if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose my favorite clients. And the truth is, that's just not always going to be the case, right? Your ideal clients are the ones who are succeeding enough in life that they can afford your high ticket offer. My Girl Get Paid guide, the one I told you guys about, let me put this on the screen again so you can see how to get access to that. If you go to fiercefemininefinance.com/girlgetpaid, you'll be able to download my workbook, which teaches you how to raise your prices without losing your best clients. Okay. There is a way to make the announcement. There's a way to position the increase in price that will keep your best clients on board. But you have to think with the fact that if your best clients are utterly broke, either one, you may not be a good fit for them yet. And it might be better to release them and let them go out and find someone who can help them move ahead in life to the point where they are able financially to pay you, right? And two, I would question whether they're really your ideal clients, right? Because typically, when a person is not able to afford your services, that means that they're going to be hiring. If you keep your prices low, right, that means they're hiring you when you're not showing up your best because you're stressed out about money. You're not able to hire the best team, and so you can't take time off. You're not able to offer the best customer service because you can't afford to, right? So a businesswoman who charges enough hires the best people, delivers the best customer service, gets better results for clients, is able to do more for her clients, right? Because she's charging more, has better marketing, has better profits, and therefore, because she has better profits, she's able to afford to start a nonprofit organization, to offer charitable activities in her community, to donate her time for free to those who need it, because she is charging enough to those who can afford it. Okay, so it's just a matter of thinking ahead, thinking in futures. When we raise our prices to the point where we're actually charging the true value of our service, now we can afford to do all the things we would do out of the goodness of our heart for the people who can't afford those things. Okay, so just something to think with. So typically, when an entrepreneur tells me that they're not ready to hire, they mean they're not ready to hire a full-time W-2 employee. So for those of you who are maybe, looking at this holiday season going, wow, if I just had someone who could help me like a couple hours a day to kind of keep my business rolling forward, I could step away for a week or two. I want to give you some opportunities to look at other types of hires, okay? Because your first hire does not have to be a full-time W-2 employee. And if you already have 10, 20, 30 employees and you're like, oh, I can't really afford another one right now, again, you may not need to, okay? It could be just a personal assistant, part-time. Could be a virtual assistant, part-time, right? So here are the 5 types of hires that could maybe take some hats off of your plate so that you can afford to take time off for the holidays. First one, of course, is a full-time employee. Second one is just a part-time W-2 employee. But then look at these other ones. How about a freelancer or a contractor? Someone who's just going to come in seasonally, maybe even 1099, right? Come on their own time, get a few things done around the office or whatever while you're not there. Maybe they're going to schedule deliveries. Maybe they're going to ship things for you or whatever. They're just going to come in for a day or two or an hour or two a day while you're gone. Okay. How about this one? An intern, right? If you're looking at like, well, I need to continue to have my marketing go out while I'm gone. Great. You know how many people are trying to break into the marketing industry, right? Find an intern, find someone who is looking for part-time work and they just want to add to their portfolio. Okay. Or like I said, how about a virtual assistant, someone who is experienced, has worked in your industry for many years, but they don't need full-time work, or maybe they're not even looking for that. And you can say, hey, if you just empty my inbox for me once a day and just like DM me or send me a little text if it's urgent, but otherwise I don't want to hear about it for the next 5 days. Great. One virtual assistant could allow you to step away in your business over the holidays. So just something to think with when we're talking about hiring. It doesn't have to be like a full-time employee, okay? So if you are thinking about hiring over the holiday season, here are just a couple of tips for you to find the right person and really have a great experience so that you can take more time off, okay? First of all, make a list, like I said, of all the tasks that you do throughout the day, the ones that absolutely need to get done, that nobody else is there to do. And I want you to ask yourself, is this truly something that only I can do? So most of my clients are experts of some kind, right? Like one client he's a Mandarin tutor. Okay, great. Well, obviously a virtual assistant isn't going to come in and like tutor his students in Mandarin Chinese, right? Like that's unrealistic. But everything except the actual tutoring could be done by somebody else, even responding to his emails, posting on social media, writing his email newsletter, right? Like all those things could be done by somebody else. And that is what we want to take off of your plate. So really, truly look at a breakdown of your day and ask yourself, how many tasks on a daily basis am I doing that are things only I can do? If these are tasks that you could delegate to someone else for less than $50 an hour, those should be your first hires, okay? Tip number 2, promote the right person. So I like to have a careers page on my website, which tells people what they can expect when they work with me. And it sets proper expectations. It helps me to attract the right type of people. And sometimes I've even had clients or ex-clients become some of my best virtual assistants because they already know my program. They've been through the course. They've been coached by me. They know all the ins and outs of the type of results I get. And they turn around and they go, wow, I could just help Sarah to actually do this, right? So that can be a great opportunity, particularly if you have a personal brand online. Creating a careers page on your website can be a great way to attract the right type of people who are already going to be somewhat familiar with your business and not need a ton of training. And then number 3, like I said, choose the right type of hire. I like to actually create a job description before I even start looking for that next hire. This really allows me to identify, like, what is my purpose for hiring this person? What is the product or end result I want them to get, right? So for example, if I'm hiring an appointment setter, the purpose of an appointment setter is to keep my schedule full. Okay. Or as full as I want it to be, I should say, right? With sales calls. And the product, the end result is someone who closed, right? So if they fill my schedule with a bunch of people who are not qualified for my program, they didn't actually get the result that they were supposed to get. So really identifying for yourself the purpose, the product or end result that this person's role is supposed to get in your business, and what key performance indicators or statistics or metrics, what milestones are we going to use to identify a high performance employee. Because when you can tell an employee on day 1, here's the purpose of your role, here's the end result you're supposed to get, okay, and here's how I'm going to be measuring your performance, you're right away, you're setting that person up for success in your business, okay? Even if it's just a virtual assistant, I still create a job description every single time. So those are my tips for just, briefly how to actually turn hats over to somebody else. And like I said, if you're looking at this saying, I really can't afford to hire somebody right now, you need to download the Girl Get Paid guide because you probably aren't charging enough for your services, and just making that one change alone could change so much for your clients and yourself. It could change the kind of results you're getting for your clients because you'll have enough money to actually hire the best people to serve them, have better customer service, have better software and automation because you can actually afford them, okay? Girl Get Paid is going to be a game changer for you. If you're looking at all of this going, I don't know how I'm going to afford to hire somebody so I can step away over the holidays. All right. Now we have just one more tip I promised to share with you. So let's get into it. Oh, I already forgot. This is the journaling exercise that went with the previous tip. But okay, assess how much of your time each day is being spent doing tasks only you can do. So like I said, if you're an attorney, great. How much are you actually giving legal advice and how much are you just responding to emails, doing something a paralegal could do, or even just a normal virtual assistant, like you're making social media posts, you're writing blogs, like doing things that a ghostwriter could do, right? How much of your day is actually spent doing things only you can do, okay? All right. Step number 3 for extracting yourself out so you can afford to take time off during the holidays. This is a big one, guys. And this is where I think, honestly, without even meaning to brag, like Fierce Feminine Finance stands out from all the other business coaches or bookkeepers that you'll find out there or whatever, because we have a very unique way of doing this, okay? This is creating a business budget that actually allows you to take time off. Most people don't realize that business budgeting is completely different than household budgeting. So let me show you what I mean by that. Most of the time, when you look at a business, it's going to be broken down into 8 basic systems. So what is a system? A system is just a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. So like I have a system for tying my shoe. I like make a bunny loop and then I have the bunny go around the tree and then down the hole and boom, you got your shoes tied, right? Like you learn that in preschool, right? Everybody has a system for how they attract clients. Everybody has a system for how they deliver excellent results for their clients. And the product that you're selling or the service you're selling might be the same as your competitor, but your systems are slightly different for how you get those results, right? So the business systems include a finance system for your business. And a lot of the time, I find that while big corporations have finance systems, small businesses do not. And it's one of the reasons why you struggle with profitability so much. Okay. So I'm going to teach you what the financial system should look like in your business. Before I do, let's get even more basic. What is a financial system? So any business system, whether it's your marketing system, your sales system, your finance system, or any other kind of system, is simply the flows, procedures, jobs, and people that get a specific definable result in your business. So definable result that sales gets, for example. Well, your sales system should be closing sales, right? It should be getting income in the door, right? That's your sales system. What about your delivery system? Well, your delivery system should be getting results for clients, right? Like doesn't matter what type of business you have. If you're selling cell phones, your delivery system is how you actually get a real cell phone that works in the hands of a customer, right? That's your delivery system. If you're a business coach, it's how do you get your client from where they were when they started with you to 7 figures or wherever it is you promised them, right? Like that's how you get results. Your finance system, same thing. It has a specific definable result that it's supposed to get in your business. There are 8 different systems, like I said, and the finance system, its specific definable result it's supposed to get is the management of funds, how they flow in and how they go out. It's supposed to establish solvency, meaning income being greater than expenses, right? It's also supposed to protect your business's assets. So if you have things like maybe you own your building, or maybe you have software, or maybe you have intellectual property in your business, how you protect those from lawsuits, from damage, from hackers, how you actually protect those things is part of your financial system, just as much as profitability is part of your financial system. Okay. So the business financial system actually has 12 elements that make it up. And when all of these 12 elements are in place, you'll have a successful, profitable business that easily protects its assets, finds it easy to create profitability, right? If any one of these 12 elements is missing, you'll struggle with profitability in the business, okay? Now, I don't have time today to teach you all 12 of these different elements, but you can take a screenshot if you want to, you at least know what they are. Today, I'm going to focus on teaching you just 2 of the 12, okay? Business budgeting and income planning. So, as I said before, a business budget is very different than a household budget. When we think of budgeting in our household, like our personal finances, it's based off of a principle of consumption. Like I go to the grocery store and I buy things to consume them, right? I don't look at a roll of toilet paper and go, what's my ROI going to be on this toilet paper? It doesn't seem very high. I'm not going to buy any today. Right? Like, no, you buy things to consume them when you're looking at household budgeting, right? It's a consumption model of finance. A business budget is completely different. Okay. Business budgeting is a cash flowing model of finance. Every dollar spent by the business must buy back more dollars. Okay. So this is known as the cash generation model of budgeting. And I teach it inside my program, Plan Her Profits, and also inside our little mini course called the Financial Grip System of Budgeting. So you can actually get a grip on your finances, right? I'm not going to, again, try to teach you every detail about this business budgeting, but I want you to understand this basic principle that every dollar spent has to buy back more dollars. So if you're just spending money with wild abandon in your business, and then at the end of the month, you're asking your bookkeeper, hey, am I profitable? You're not doing business budgeting the right way because you're trying to apply household budgeting to a business, and they're not the same thing. Okay. So what we should be doing instead is actually very simple. Instead of spending money all month long without planning it, and then in hindsight, trying to figure out whether or not you're profitable, you want to apply this principle instead. Give every dollar a job based on what you think will be the best use of your business's funds. And then at the end of the month, go back and compare your plan with reality to see how you did. Okay. So for example, let's say I know that in my business, I average around 10K per month. Okay. So I know that based off of hard data from earlier months. So at the beginning of this month, I'm going to look over my business. I'm going to assign each of those 10Ks, each of those $10,000 that I think I'm going to make, right? Based off of earlier months, I'm going to assign each one of those dollars a job. One of the jobs of my dollars is to pay for the software. Why though? Not just because I consume software, right? It's not consumption. It's the ROI on my software. My software is paying for that money to come in, right? I pay out on the software and it brings in clients. It brings in deliverable products and services to my clients, right? So every dollar I'm going to spend this month, I review it and I go, okay, what's the ROI going to be on that? What's the ROI likely to be on that? What's the ROI going to be on that? And I make a decision based off of what I think will happen. The advantage to doing this, I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it takes a few minutes once a month, okay? And the advantage to doing this is that it makes my profitability much more predictable. I'm basing it off of hard data of earlier months, and I'm assigning every dollar I make a job. Some of the dollars I make, their job is to go make more money, right? Like I'm going to go invest that in other assets. Okay. I'm investing my money to make my money work for me. And sometimes I'm investing it back in the business in the terms of advertising or hiring somebody new who I think will be productive in my business, right? But either way, I do that at the beginning of every month. I assess how much I think I'm going to pull in income. And if I do, where that money should be spent most wisely. And then at the end of the month, I simply, again, assess, all right, where did the money go? And this is where your bookkeeper will come in handy, right? Where did that money go? And I compare my plan from the beginning of the month with the reality of where my money actually went and see, did I get the kind of ROI that I thought I would? Okay. Doing this, which takes just a few minutes every month, will actually make your planning of your profits much more predictable. Okay. So we have lessons on exactly how to do that inside Plan Her Profits. So I'm going to move on to the second element of a financial system that I promised to teach you today, and that is income planning. So there's budgeting, but there's also how do I make my income more predictable? And there's a lot I could teach you on the subject of how to make income predictable. I'm going to teach you 3 things today, okay? Number 1, every month you should be tracing your past sources of income. I'm reaching over to show you my planner. Where is it? If you guys don't have a copy of this yet, you should get one, okay? In this planner, we track where did the income come from? And every single month, you look at where the income came from and you find ways to narrow your focus in on how to do that again. So just as an example, this past week, I had noticed a decline, okay, in my traffic into my funnels. It was just like going down and down and down. And no matter what I did, it seemed to continue to go into this downslide, okay? I had been trying to build a TikTok channel and I've been consistently posting on TikTok, and I've been paying coaches who are experts on TikTok to look at my content and give me suggestions of what to tweak. I've paid, I think, well, in total, about $1,000 for 2 different coaches to put eyeballs on my TikTok channel and tell me, hey, is there anything I could improve about this content? And I had been consistently posting at least once or twice per day for 120 days. Okay. At the end of those 120 days, I had this downtrend in my traffic into my funnel, and I had 200 and let's see, I have 274 followers. What a load of crap. Okay. So as you can tell, that was not an effective, not a successful action for me. 83% of my clients, historically, 83% of my clients have always come from Facebook. And I was like, hey, TikTok's new, it's flashy, maybe I can get in on the ground floor and, make some money on TikTok. I have not made a single dollar off of TikTok. I have spent hours and hours and hours every week recording videos, posting them, editing them, all the things, right? I spent $1,000 at least on coaches to teach me how to tweak my content, and I continue to have this downtrend, okay? A great example of income planning is, again, I look at what platform are my clients coming from? 83% of them came from Facebook, despite me taking a break from Facebook to go work heavily on TikTok, right? And the other 15-17% or whatever came from offline networking. Okay. So tracing your past sources of income is one of the primary ways you can make your profits more predictable. And guess what? This past week, I said, screw TikTok, spent no time whatsoever recording any content whatsoever on TikTok. And guess what? I got an enormous spike, like a screaming affluent spike on traffic into my funnel just by focusing heavily on Facebook and offline networking, the things that worked. Okay. So this is a great example of income planning. Do it every single week if you're full-time in your business. If your team underneath you is in charge of the income, then make them do these activities. You don't have to do them yourself as a business owner, right? Coming back to being an investor and not a leader in your business, right? But it should be done by somebody. Step 2, look for current sources of income. So this is where, again, if I did close sales this week, where did they come from? And sometimes you'll find that the thing you're spending all the time on is not what's bringing in the money. So instead of spending all your time on that thing, why don't you just spend more time or more energy, meaning more money or advertising budget or whatever, on the things that are working? Okay. And then number 3, of course, is demanding future sources of income. That's what I was trying to do with the TikTok channel. I went, okay, this could be a future source of income. So I'm going to dedicate time towards it every week. And usually I try to do something consistently for 90 days before I decide it's failed. At the 90-day mark this time, I fired my coach and I hired a different coach and went, okay, clearly TikTok is working for some people. It's just not working for me. So let me fire my coach, try somebody else. And I tried it for another 30 days. And the result was even steeper decrease in traffic strategy. So I was like, forget this. This doesn't work for me, right? Could be working for other people, could be fantastic for other people. I'm not telling you not to use Facebook or TikTok or anything. I'm just telling you, trace your income sources, look for current sources of income. Where are they coming from? And double down on those. And at the same time, continue to demand future sources of income by testing strategies consistently for 90 days if you have the bandwidth to do that. Okay. Doing these types of activities is a part of the Plan Your Profits method that I teach. And it's a key part of it, because if we don't have a way to make our income more predictable, and if we don't have a way to reduce our effort and increase our success, then you're going to work forever. You're going to literally work until the day you die and not get to take time off for the holidays, not going to be able to take maternity leave. Like, how are you going to do the things you want to do in life if you don't learn how to make your profits predictable? So again, I promised you a free guide that goes with this training, just like I do every single week. This guide is one of my most popular that I've ever created. It's actually, I was looking at the analytics for it the other day as I was choosing what topic to talk about this week. And this guide has a roughly 50% conversion rate. Every time I talk about this, 1 out of every 2 people goes and downloads it. So I really recommend you check it out. It covers 3 different strategies for how to get yourself to be higher paid in your own business, okay, without adding any time to your week. So in fact, the whole point of the guide is to make you earn more and work less. So go check it out. Like I said, it is at fiercefemininefinance.com/girlgetpaid. If you can't figure it out, for some reason the link's not working or whatever, then just comment the word guide below and I will send you the link. Thank you so much for watching the training today, guys. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you again next week.